Hi, I'm EllaAradia and welcome to your Psychic Tarot love reading. This reading is for my Aries, Leo and Sagittarius fire signs. The timestamps are below, where we will be taking a deeper dive into your person's hidden feelings for you. This is a love reading and it's for those of you who are already connected with someone, even if you are currently in no contact with your person. This will be a very specific message, so it may not resonate for all of you. If it feels right, then it's meant for you. Otherwise, you may want to check out the readings for your other placements, so Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. And before we jump in, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoy this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and then you can get notified when the next videos are up. So Aries, let's jump in. So I always like to just feel into the energies a little bit first, Aries, just to see what comes through before I start pulling cards. I'm feeling the energy of renewal, and I feel for many of you that somebody new has recently come into your life. You know, it could be a few weeks in, but it just feels like a new person. And I definitely feel like they are coming forwards quite strongly, really wanting to, you know, move things forward with you. And on your side, I'm feeling a little bit of a cautious energy of not fully trusting, perhaps, you know, are they being genuine? Is this real? You know, because it feels like quite early days. And with your overall energies, we have judgment, a moment of a life review. Because what I feel in your past here, Aries, is a significant connection that broke down. This may well be your ex. And I just feel disappointment. And there's something about, you know, whoever this was, that they weren't showing up in the way that you needed. Your needs were not being met in some way, because there's something that feels a little bit toxic about, you know, whatever this past connection is. There may have been some very powerful soul lessons involved in that connection around, I feel, getting a stronger sense of yourself and your needs and self-love and things like that. So yeah, very potentially a soulmate connection. And soulmates, you know, we can have more than one. They come into our lives for many different reasons. And sometimes it's to help us learn, you know, these valuable soul lessons. Sometimes it's about healing. And with judgment there, you're being asked to take responsibility. It's a call to accountability for your part to play in your experiences, and also really take a good look at what is it time to perhaps let go of and leave in the past, and what is it time to, you know, take with you moving forward. So judgment is all about, you know, pausing for a moment and really reevaluating before perhaps, you know, making your next steps forward. But it is about, you know, it is a card about learning from the past and taking that wisdom with you moving forwards. So with your person's view of you, we have the Six of Pentacles. And to me, this feels like, you know, this person has come in after perhaps quite a challenging, difficult time for you. That support has come in after a difficult time. There are feelings towards you, the Fool. the beginning of a new chapter, a significant new chapter. And really wanting to, these are the energies that I was feeling, really wanting to, move things forward with you and take that leap of faith, even if it is into the unknown in some way. Because to me, the energies of the Fool are just all about being open-hearted and just trusting your heart and embracing the unknown. And I definitely feel that this is what this new person that you're dealing with is wanting to do here. They're wanting, to embark on some kind of new chapter together, for both of you. So some kind of fresh start, and with their intentions towards you, the Ten of Pentacles. So this person that you're dealing with here is definitely seeing the potential here in the connection. Sometimes it's just a kind of a knowing, like you meet someone and you just have this feeling that there's significance in some way. And the Ten of Pentacles, it is a card of commitment, and it's about working together for the long term. So this person is wanting to, I feel, go all in here. And they see, the potential that the connection with you could be here, Aries. Your feelings towards your person, the Four of Wands, emotional stability and contentment. And, when I look at the Four of Wands, I always think of this as a gateway. And it's a gateway to, what you truly desire here, which is, that commitment, that happy home. It's a card of milestones. It can often be a moment where, there's some kind of commitment, like marriage or moving in together. It's some kind of milestone in life. So I feel like you're both seeing, the potential here, but because it's, very early days, there's a little bit of a challenge sometimes in really kind of trusting, okay, will this still be the way it is in some months from now? And in your challenge, the Seven of Pentacles, and a card of just taking a pause, reevaluating. And it's interesting that that comes up along with, Judgment as your overall energies. Because, I do feel the universe is asking you to take a pause and really reflect and look at, what you have in front of you. And your hidden influence, the Seven of Cups, a card of potential. But of course, at some point, an action needs to be taken on, one of those cups in order for it to become let's say, a tangible reality. And it might be that there is something about the past connection that you just need to let go of that last piece. It may require moving forwards with this new person to let go or, face any fears or insecurities and take a leap of faith with the energies of the Fool there. Embrace that with them. With your advice from the universe, the Lovers, a card of choice, a choice that needs to be made. Some of you might still be hung up on this, on whoever this ex is or this past connection here, because the Lovers is all about, making choices which are truly aligned with your heart and what you truly desire here, which is this Four of Wands, the happy home, the stability. And with Judgment there, I definitely feel like you are being asked to really look at all of this, carefully, and really look at what you put your energies into moving forwards. And so my advice on this situation would be, to really listen to your heart on this one, Aries. Just take a step back, listen to your heart. Because when I feel into that past connection, there's something that feels heavy and toxic about it. And it feels like someone that you were always willing to, work on whatever issues came up, but I just don't feel like they were willing or able or ready to do that. And, it's important to, not get stuck perhaps on what has, really ended for a reason. Because otherwise, you might miss the opportunity of this new beginning, which is going to lead you to the Ten of Pentacles there. Because I do feel like this new person that you're dealing with, is really wanting to move things forward. They see the potential, and I feel like it's someone that's really ready to make that commitment to you. So in your outcome, the Knight of Wands, and to me, this is the universe telling you to just really follow your heart here, Aries, and take some kind of action here. So this is a call to, make some kind of move or decision, especially with this Lovers card here. Reassess the situation, look at the facts of everything. But don't wait too long is the kind of very much the feeling I'm getting here. Follow your heart. So let's just get your person's hidden message for you. So this hidden message is usually for those of you where there is some kind of no contact situation. I'm almost feeling like this is a hidden message from whoever this ex is. I love you. I don't react when people mention you. You came closer than anyone. I'm grateful for the spiritual lesson. So many things remind me of you. So it does feel that whoever is in your past is definitely doing some reflecting. But the question is, I feel, have they shifted enough? Because I do feel that whoever this new person is for you, Aries, it is an opportunity for something healthy and real and loving. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to move on now to Leo. So Leo. Okay, Leo, let's jump in. So I always like to just feel into the energies a little bit first, Leo, before I start pulling cards. What I'm feeling most strongly for many of you is that you may be recently single, actually. And I very much get this sense of having to leave something behind or having to leave somebody behind. And it may be that this person walked out of your life. And so it gives this sense of having to let them go. But something, that has, come to a close that I feel may have been, quite challenging for you, quite emotionally challenging. And it has brought you, to this moment for some of you of, finding yourself on your own. And I do feel for many of you, there's a little bit of a struggle here around getting things into context and letting go of what you know, broke down and being able to kind of move on from this person. Your overall energies is the King of Cups, an individual who is able to create a safe and secure container for you emotionally. They're able to connect deeply emotionally. And someone who can really hold that space with you. With your person's view of you, we have the Ace of Swords. Their feelings towards you, the King of Swords. Their intentions towards you, the Five of Swords. Your feelings towards this person, strength. I feel like you've come a long way, Leo. You know, I feel like, you know, whatever has gone down with this person from your past, there's been a lot of healing that you've been going through. You've had to really kind of dig deep and find the strength and the courage, especially for those of you that have, you know, found yourselves on your own, you know, single for the first time in perhaps a long time for some of you. And there's definitely been, you know, a lot of, you know, facing your fears and insecurities through that. But I definitely feel that you have grown a lot. So with their view of you, we have the Ace of Swords. Often this is a card that shows up, you know, some kind of new beginning, but it might be a new way of thinking. It's often a card that kind of cuts through illusions to really get to the truth of a situation, you know, facing truths. And with their view of you being the King of Swords, they might be having a hard time kind of reading you emotionally at the moment. I definitely feel like whoever this is in your past, you know, is still thinking about you. They're still considering perhaps some kind of new beginning or fresh start. But there's also a very conflicted energy here, you know, with this Five of Swords. So there may have been conflict between the two of you, arguments, disagreements, which may have caused, you know, this breakdown in the connection. So some of you may even be in no contact. But there's also something that feels a little bit unhealthy about this card to me in terms of, you know, what kind of communication you may have been having with each other. Because the Five of Swords is a very kind of ego-driven energy. You know, it's not really the kind of communication where, you know, it's honest, it's open, it's truthful. You know, this is a card to me which is more about drama and, you know, pointing fingers, blaming, and, you know, these energies of your person wanting to win. So there may have been, you know, something, you know, some kind of major conflict that the two of you have had. And your person is still in this energy of kind of wanting to be right. And so with that said, you know, there is not a lot of healing or inner reflection that's going on with your person. They're still in that energy of wanting to be right. And what lies in your challenge is temperance, healing, a card of moderation, balance, patience. And I feel that that is what this strength is about for you, you know, that dealing with, you know, perhaps the potential of, you know, this being the end, being on your own, has definitely brought up some quite challenging, you know, issues or emotions inside of you that, you know, perhaps having a little bit of difficulty kind of facing. So just take it step by step, you know, there's no rush. Your hidden influence, the Hierophant. This is a card of keeping the faith. Sometimes I call this my counseling card, and it might be for some of you to, you know, seek out, you know, a counselor or somebody that, you know, a trusted mentor that can perhaps support you through this time and give you some advice. You know, this often represents, you know, a person in your life that is in a role like that, that you can perhaps lean on for some support at this time. It's also a card of just keeping the faith as well. And it's our connection to the divine and to, you know, those higher, wiser parts of ourselves. And it's also a calling here, Leo, to really, you know, connect to your inner wisdom moving forwards. And just trust that and use it to, you know, help you navigate your next steps forward. So with your advice from the universe, the Three of Pentacles, and a little reminder that, you know, relationships are about, you know, a mutual commitment where you both have the intention, the commitment towards, you know, working together as a team. You know, this is a card of growth and expansion and really working together, you know, on whatever difficulties or challenges have come up and really making that commitment to each other. And so that's where I feel a little bit of a caution there, because I'm unsure whether your person is really ready to do that. And if that's the case, and if it is you, you know, being single right now, this is a card of, you know, perhaps just getting yourself out there and meeting new people, connecting to new people, and just being open, you know, to that possibility. And what lies in your outcome is the Nine of Cups, emotional fulfillment, happiness, and getting to that point in life where, you know, you do feel okay on your own. It doesn't mean that you let go of, you know, wanting love or, you know, a potential life partner. But sometimes it's nice to get to that point where you're kind of just feeling okay on your own and just discovering more of yourself and, you know, experiencing more of life. Healing and growing and getting your energy into a better place where you can attract, you know, with those overall energies, the King of Cups. So let's just get your person's hidden message for you, Leo. So Leo, I know that I crossed the line with you, so something's definitely gone down between the two of you. I wish things could be different. Finding out the truth crushed me, so that's going to resonate for some of you. You were the best thing in my life. I hope that you can forgive me one day. So Leo, I'm going to leave that there. We are going to move on to Sagittarius. Okay, one more shuffle. Okay, Sagittarius, let's jump in. So I always like to tune into the energies first, Sagittarius, before I start pulling cards. I always like to just see what comes through. Instantly feeling heartbreak. And I feel like there is someone that you have had to let go of. You've had to move on from, that you were really ready for a long-term commitment. I feel like you had them down as your life partner. And I feel like they weren't ready. And that's such a tough thing to happen sometimes. But what I do feel about your energy now is I do feel that you are ready. And I definitely feel like there's a lot of healing and growth that's occurred as a result of, you know, what has broken down here. And with your overall energies, the Queen of Wands, an invitation here, Sagittarius, to really take your power back now and to really remember who you are. Because the Queen of Wands is a very, very charismatic energy. And, you know, she's an energy, of course, the gender can be different, but it's an energy where the Queen of Wands walks into a room and everybody notices that person's presence. So the kind of energy that, you know, is very inspiring, and a sign here really to take your power back and just really follow your heart moving forwards. So your person's view of you, Ten of Wands. Their feelings towards you, the Queen of Cups. Their intentions towards you, the Four of Wands. So whatever has gone down in the past between the two of you, it definitely feels like something that kind of got heavy between the two of you. And, you know, there is history with, you know, with each other, you know, with it being the Ten of Wands. I definitely get the sense that, you know, this was something that you really tried to make it work between the two of you, but you know, it's something that, you know, I feel became kind of hard work. You know, this is a card of burdens and kind of carrying obligations and things like that. But it's almost this sense that perhaps being apart from you, you know, they're beginning to realize, you know, what you both had. What you both still do have, I guess, and seeing you, you know, as, you know, this Queen of Cups here. So it's definitely someone who I do feel they still have feelings for you, Sagittarius. And their intentions towards you, the Four of Wands, that's a card of commitment and milestones and, you know, wanting to perhaps take things to the next level. You know, so maybe this is something that you might be able to work through. I definitely feel though with that Ten of Wands there that you've been through quite a challenging time with this person, and there has been a lot of, you know, them not showing up in the way that you needed. Definitely feels to me that I actually feel the opposite way around. I feel like it's you that's been carrying the connection, and, you know, them that hasn't really been, you know, fulfilling their part of it. Let's just look at your feelings towards them. The Empress, I feel like you're still open to this person. The thing is, yeah, there is history here. This is not a new connection. And I definitely feel that about the connection. Like I said earlier, I just really strongly get the sense that you were always willing to, you know, work on the issues, work on things together and get through it and, you know, grow together and evolve things and move forwards together. And I just feel like this is where your person got stuck. I feel like they hit a wall. Fears came up, insecurities came up. Might be someone that, you know, has difficulty in having those deeper emotional connections, connecting to their emotions, expressing them. And sometimes when there is a separation or a split, and especially when there isn't any contact, it often gives someone the space to really face the reality of losing you and the reality of perhaps losing, you know, what they had. And I do feel, you know, with this Queen of Cups, as their feelings towards you, they are definitely realizing that now. So what lies in your challenge? The Four of Pentacles. So I definitely feel, Sagittarius, you have been dealing with someone who has been closed down, shut off, someone who, you know, has been very guarded. They may even have a little bit of an avoidant energy is what I'm feeling. And that's really challenging to deal with, because on your side, I feel like you are somebody that likes to, you know, talk about things as they arise. I mean, at the end of the day, when you have two people in a connection, at some point, you know, issues are going to come up. And I feel like you're someone that just really likes to talk about it straight away, get it cleared, and move on and grow. And I just get this feeling of every time you try to speak to your person, they are just closing off and closing down on you. And then the issue just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that can be, you know, quite a challenging thing to deal with. And it can also, yeah, cause a lot of emotional pain as well. And your hidden influence, we have the Knight of Wands, which is a call to action, to follow your heart. Your advice from the universe, the Queen of Pentacles. So whatever you decide to do here, Sagittarius, the advice here is about, you know, remembering your worth and your value and, you know, standing really strongly in that and making sure that, you know, if you do decide to give this another shot, you know, making sure that you really are having your needs met, you know, staying strong in that worth and that value and what you deserve. Because, you know, it really is, I feel, for your person to step up to that, to step up to the plate here. You know, but to do that, they've got to get past their own walls and barriers is what I'm feeling. But there is some hope, I feel, you know, with that Queen of Cups there and the Four of Wands as their intentions to make some kind of effort or commitment towards you. And so the most important thing is, you know, that your person is willing and that they try. And then you can work with that. What you can't work with is someone that just stays shut down. And with your outcome, we have Judgment, a moment of a life review. And it's a card which is all about learning from the past here, Sagittarius. And that's the invitation. It's about, you know, learning from the past experiences, gaining wisdom from that and using that wisdom to guide you forwards to make sure that, you know, you don't go down the same roads again. You don't repeat the old dynamics, the old patterns. You know, it's a call to accountability on both sides. So I think that's going to involve, you know, some very honest and open conversation that comes from, you know, a genuine place of truth, even if it feels a little bit vulnerable for either of you. So I'm going to leave it there. Let's just get your person's hidden message here, Sagittarius. The hidden message is more for those of you who are in some kind of no contact situation. I know I messed up everything. I couldn't let you get close to me. That's exactly what I was talking about in the reading. I feel you even though we're apart. I'm not available. I don't react when people mention you. I left when I saw you as someone. So that's going to resonate for some of you. It might be that your person has some insecurities about perhaps other people that you talk to. But I do feel that, you know, they have definitely, in your absence, been doing a lot of reflecting, and they are beginning to, you know, really understand the connection more with you and perhaps what they stand to lose here. So Sagittarius, I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, and I wish you a great month ahead.